Okay. All right. So we're going to get started. We've got a lot today. We're actually going to start with Dave Roberts while he's doing his technical thing. You good? All right. Here we go. Oh, no? Oh, talk amongst yourselves, apparently. I thought you said you were good. Okay. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, na, 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 na.
Change case. There we go.
All right, so I think I might actually completely shut the, well, yeah. So I'm gonna cue this up. We are close to closing on our financing, very close. We went to the printer yesterday, and what that means officially is that the deal is now in the market and the investors are reviewing the bond documents. We have an investor webinar tomorrow to really take it over the top, make sure all $32 million of the bonds are sold. And this means we're marching towards groundbreaking and we're marching towards construction starting on campus. What has happened in the last 2 weeks is the site supervisor, whose name is Anthony, and his two primary colleagues, which will be on site, one named Mitch and one named Gerardo, have been spending a lot of time on campus with Dave and Tom. And while one pre-construction part of the construction management firm sort of came up with a preliminary schedule upon which we have sort of started to make a lot of changes, the site supervisory team has kind of looked at that and said, we can do this in a much more efficient way and a much less disruptive way for the residents. So, oh, there we go. I queued you up. So now prove why it's going to be more efficient and less disruptive. Now you have the heavy lift. So Dave will take you through kind of where this is going and what we expect, although it's not completely solidified yet.
All right, thanks. First of all, I'll go through the site plan, but we had our first construction meeting this morning and it was a real, I guess, a confidence booster. I mean, I have a lot of faith in the way that Wolfson have operated to date, but this just showed that they know what to do from day one. And I will say that the first thing on the agenda every week is going to be health and safety. And they drive that. And what that means is they go through every aspect of health and safety on the construction site, how to keep everyone, all the residents safe while this goes on. And so I thought that was a great, kind of indicator of the way that they approach things. So first of all, I just want to go through the site plan because this is how things are going to affect residents outside, first of all. And it's a fair bit of disruption, but we're going to all work together and make it work because, of course, our construction company needs staging areas outside. They need places to make deliveries. They also need to fence off the areas so that people can't walk into construction areas and get hurt. Now, I don't know how to operate this little thing. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this end of the building, this is wellness. So, and here is the swimming pool, just to get you orientated. So what this means is that this is the off the south end of the building here. And here, all this where I'm going around, this red line is going to be fenced off. That's a lot, right? Because here we're adding the wellness building and here we're adding admin. So this, and then here you see this yellow, that's a trailer, that's a 60-foot long trailer for their construction site office. So that's a big area, and it's driven by, you know, the deliveries and so on, but also a lot of this blacktop here, they need to pull up to redo our stormwater in that area. So we don't have a lot of control over them having to fence off this area. What we may do when they've done the construction here is pull this fence line back to here in order to reduce that. So what does that mean? That means that a lot of this car parking is going to go offline from day one. What does that mean? That means that we're going to add ADA spaces so we'll maintain the count of ADA spaces. They may be in different places. This is where we need to work together. If you have a particular concern about your own mobility and getting to your vehicle, then give Jason a shout, and we'll figure out how to get to your vehicle. But, you know, this is going to be one of the primary challenges here, is making sure that people who have ADA car parking or they need their car, you know, close to the building, what can we do about that? So on the other side, this is the exit near the library. And so this is where the pack will be built. We maintain all the access to the front door just as it is at the moment by vehicles. So that doesn't change. What does change is this red line here is our area that is for staging and for the construction. The construction vehicles, they'll have a gate here for coming in and out, and also a gate here for coming in and out. We'll maintain ADA spaces. Well, actually, to be determined, we're having a meeting about this tomorrow, but we'll maintain ADA spaces as close to the entrances as we possibly can, and maintain the counts that we have. What else do I need to tell you here? We're going to keep a couple ADA spaces here close to the front door. These EV stations will go away because they're actually that power is going to power the trailer. So that's a quick overview of where we're at with the outside. As you can see, there's a lot of car parking spaces that are affected here. But what we're trying to do is maintain as many spaces as we can close to the front door. And you may find some residents who are in the north wing may decide that they want to park at the other end of the north wing if you feel that that's more convenient. But, you know, keep the conversation going with us. If you're having difficulty with, you know, a particular car parking spot, or you feel like you don't have the access that you need, certainly contact me. I think contact Jason. Is that a fair thing? And we'll figure it out together. So so the access door from the library remains open. It needs to for fire access. The green there actually designates that it's going to be covered for that portion because, of course, the construction is happening right along that line, and so it'll be covered to protect residents and staff as we come and go out of that doorway. But that's where we are at the moment with our site plan. Now, I'm going to take a minute here. Michelle, do you want to sing for a minute?
Actually, I'll take, while you're doing that, who wants to, oh, Betsy, yes, do you have a question?
Yes. What are parking spaces available outside of the health center and where that enters the north wing by the library is? What parking spaces remain there? Go back a slide.
So that's still somewhat to be determined, but right now, if you're coming out of the door by the library and you look to the left, probably 10 spots are going to go away. And then the rest of that parking lot will remain open is most likely where we're going to land. So you'll get pushed down a little bit. But I think the most important thing to this conversation is we are going to be, just like we did during COVID. You remember, we staffed up and we had staff around, and during the filming, we had staff around all over the place to direct you, to help you with things. We're going to be able to help you with your vehicle parking. We're going to be able to help you with all that stuff. We know we have to do that in order to supplement for some of this. So I don't want anyone to get stressed about it. You just need to communicate with us what you need, and we'll have mechanisms to be able to do that. Ina?
They can get out, unload their groceries or whatever, and have somebody take their car, and then they don't have to worry. It could be on Danscan, it could be in another lot, whatever, and then it frees them from having to walk so far.
I will. So what Ina indicated was, do we have opportunity to do some valeting? And absolutely, yes. And whether it's with staff or neighbors or how we figure it out, if you don't need your car regularly, we're going to want you to park as far away as you can. If we can help you get your car, then we will help you get your car. We're just going to need some notice and some things like that. We're not going to talk about the mechanisms in here today, but we know we're going to have to staff up in order to help with vehicles and things like that. If you are regularly using your car, that's something that we will start to get to know. I mean, this is going to be a year-long process, and we'll know who are the regular car users. How can we help you with your vehicles? Some of you in this room don't touch your car, but once a week or less than that. And everyone will kind of go into different categories. Staff will park as far away as possible to make resident spots the most available. Ready for the next?
It'll be most challenging at the front end, at the beginning of the construction, because if you can imagine, during that time, we have larger equipment working on the foundations and concrete. Once the buildings are up and they're working primarily inside, we should be able to reduce the impact on the outdoor areas, and we'll get more car parking back over time. Now, I just want to walk you through the interior impact. So what has changed here? The primary change is that originally we were going to start with dining and fast casual and the pub. The schedule is flipped. So we will be doing that. We won't be starting dining and fast casual construction until summer of next year. I kind of like this because because it is less of an impact to residents' everyday life at the beginning. And essentially what we're doing is starting down this end of the building at Wellness and sweeping through the building in a progressive manner. So here is Wellness. The big change here is that the existing art room and fitness will go offline right at the beginning, right? And so because they're going to want to break through to these building, to this end of the building. And so at the end of the day, what it means is that they'll be moving through these areas much sooner. This area, the existing pack goes offline in January and will be completed earlier. So we'll have the new gym, exercise area, pickleball court online earlier. And admin will be displaced after about 3 months. So, once again, in the new year, you will find that admin will be distributed. Some people will work from home. We have an area in the South Storage as a swing space. Some people will be working from there. All these things will keep you apprised of as they come up. But the main thing for residents to know is that dining is not going to happen first. And it sort of contains our messy construction at this end of the building to start off with. The swimming pool is going to be fast tracked. I know this says 4 to 5 months. That includes the bathrooms in there. But the construction schedule for the swimming pool itself, we're hoping to contain to 8 to 10 weeks so that we can get the swimming pool back online so that the swimmers can enjoy their exercise classes and so on in the swimming pool as quickly as possible. So that's as we sweep through the building, and then we here I just sorry. So then we get to the other end of the building, just to orientate everyone. This is the main entry here, kitchen. And then this is the library down here. So the Performing Arts Centre starts day one. The new Performing Arts Centre starts on day one. But that won't impact the inside of the building until much later, until we break through. The library, as you can see here, is scheduled to go offline in about March of next year. Still have to determine how long that'll be offline for, but it'll probably be about 6 months. So we have to figure out a plan around that. That's sort of new information. And as you can see here, we start with the kitchen, June 2025 to August 2026, sorry. So that's next summer for dining. And as many of you will know, we've already lined up, working with Tom and with Phil, the temporary kitchen setup, which will be in the loading dock. There'll be a kitchen, dishwashing, and walk-in refrigerators. So all the food will be prepared and made out of those temporary kitchens. So you can see, we kind of sweep through the building and then finally come through here. And then the last stage is doing the corridor all the way through. But as I say, the main change here is that dining happens later. And so we're trying to reduce or contain the construction to this end of the building to start off with. We will set up a way of distributing this information. We will have big plans up every week on Fridays. They'll go up and be disseminated so that everyone understands what to expect for the week ahead and what to expect for the 2 weeks ahead. So if anyone has any questions. Oh, no questions. Yeah.
That's December 26th or December 2025 for the dining room, for the bar,
December 26th.
to April,
I forgot my question.
Yes.
right, to April 2027?
Yeah.
Right, this is all an 18-month complete
You go
duration.
first then.
Yeah.
I had the same question. So it's December 26 to April 27. And that's the only 7 up there. Okay.
Are you going to continue to move the pub as you have started, or is that going to be moved much later?
That'll be moved much later.
Does that mean the game room and the classroom will come back online for a while?
You're all thinking the same things. Yes, exactly. So that's an upside here, and that's the one thing that is a hiccup because we'd made plans, but then we will, get those back online again and start to have all those activities in those rooms.
Okay, you said the pack is going to be closed off very soon. The new pack won't be ready yet. What do we do for large groups like
Yep.
this?
So what we're doing is we'll actually have a large space in South Storage that will accommodate a lot of those things. We will use the great room in the health centre. So between those two spaces, we'll be able to cover all those activities. And then what we do is we clear out, once the pack is back online, then we will move admin down into that South Storage area.
So how many have seen South Storage empty? Okay, not too many. It's bigger than this room.
It's a
Significantly
big
bigger.
space.
Yeah, it's a very, very large space. So at some point, I don't know if it's open because I know we're doing work down there right now. So we're doing a whole fit out down there right now. So it's actually a construction zone at the moment. We're carpeting, utilities, doing some build out. We're starting the bathroom building that's going down there, the handicapped accessible bathroom. So it's a very, very big space. And it was all of your cooperation that allowed us to condense the storage into North Storage that allowed us for that overflow space. So that's going to be a big pressure relief valve down there. So once it's available for folks to go take a look at, you'll see where fitness is going to go. You'll see where we're going to have big open space for different meetings and things like that. we'll be able to utilize the great room and so on and so forth. And the classroom and the game room will be back online for November 1st activities. George Brown?
Just to be clear on the library, you said it closes for 6 months? Is that-
Yeah, that's what I understand at the moment.
And the books are taken away. And then what happens is you're not sure yet, she says.
Be figured out.
Yeah, that's right.
Something will be figured out. This was all kind of new, and it's something that we need to work through. We have to think about this a little bit. I don't have an immediate answer. Do you?
No. I mean, we want to keep some library activities online, so we just have to figure that out.
So I think it's going to be necessary to have a meeting with the library committee sooner than later to understand what the critical priorities are. And then the critical priorities we'll find a new home for temporarily.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So at some point very soon, this is all going to get finalized with dates and get published out to all of you. But we wanted to just make sure that you knew walking out of here today that we are not going to be both simultaneously working on wellness and dining at the same time, which is what was supposed to be happening. So you would have had two major disruptions simultaneously. So this concentrates it in one area and then moves to the next, and we'll get you some more concrete information. Okay. Do you have anything else on your side? I don't think so. Yeah, we'll wait on that. We'll all right. So you're up next.
Okay, tough act to follow. No slides for me. All right, I'm Jason Irish. I don't have that much. I'll talk quickly. The first thing I want to talk about is a Broadway trip. We've talked about this with our activities committee. Garvin's in town, the restaurant, is hosting a Broadway trip. It's not through Woodland Pond, but we're promoting it. We're giving our residents access to it. All the payment is through Garvin's. It's to see the show Death Becomes Her on Wednesday, December 10th. We'll provide transportation down to Garvin's. Then there's transportation from there to New York City to see the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center, to eat at Carmine's, and to see Death Becomes Her on Broadway. We would leave here at 7:30 in the morning and return to Woodland Pond at 7:15. The cost is $290 per person. Just to give you some context on that, a ticket alone is about $150 for that show. For orchestra center seats. I think that's what it's called. So anyone interested, we've got flyers up. If you need more information, you could talk to myself or Carrie. Again, this trip is in December, on December 10th, and everything is through Garvin's, but we're hoping to get at least one under our belt through someone else, and then we want to start promoting some New York City and Broadway trips, but we're hoping to get this one going. That's the first thing. Second thing, our murder mystery dinner is coming up next month, quickly, Sunday, November 16th. A couple things with this. Currently, we have only about 50 signed up. That was our minimum with the company to come. We only needed a minimum of 50. We can do a maximum of 75, so we're looking for some more signups for that. The cost of that is $55 per person, which includes the show and a 3-course prefix menu with dining. So again, we're looking for 25 more people. On the trip sheet in November, there was a trip scheduled for Sunday, November 16th, which we are now going to move. We didn't catch it until after the fact. It was the county players trip to the dining room on the 16th. There was about 13 people signed up. We're going to call them all today. We're going to move it to the 15th. The 15th, so just the day before, at county players. We'll call everyone, see who still wants to go. Now with that, there was also a trip on the 15th, but that only had 3 people signed up. That trip was the Taconic Opera. And I see a few people in the room that did sign up. We're going to probably cancel that trip because of the limited turnout. But we'll call everyone. I'm just giving some information here. The next trip for November that is most likely going to be canceled as well is the trip to Great Barrington. Only 2 people signed up for that one. We tried it. Didn't get a great turnout. We'll try again. We'll see how it goes. For the remainder of this month and obviously through the renovations, the only things that we know about are obviously things that carry schedules or things that are on the regular activity schedule. Any events that are not on the activity schedule, any family gatherings, family parties, any private meetings, make sure you let Carrie know. Obviously, we're getting some rooms back, which is good. We're getting the game room and classroom back, but there's still a lot of coordination that Carrie and the activities committee and myself and Cameron now, we all have to figure out where things are going to go. And some of these things that we don't know, these off-schedule events, these family parties, just let Carrie know if you know something that is not on the calendar. In November, we don't have definitive logistics on this, but in November, we are going to start doing fitness in the morning. Whether it's a video here in the pack, we tried stuff on 1340. I don't think that got much traction, but we're going to try having videos here in the pack for Sunday morning fitness just to get more fitness on our calendar. So keep an eye out for that. The last thing I'll talk about, well, no, I've got a few more things. I think Michelle brought this up in a recent address is about, and I know people have been asking about the desk, is a wrist pendant. And we've talked about this before as well. So currently most residents have the necklace pendant. There is a wrist style pendant, which Status Solutions offers. Right now in circulation around the building, there's about 9 or 10. I purchased one recently for a resident that was like a different batch. I don't know what the questions are at concierge, but I just want to give you the information on this. The wrist style pendant, in my opinion, is not a great option. So anyone requesting a wrist style pendant, just reconsider based on these facts. So the pendant that we have, you press your pendant, it alarms concierge. We can clear it from the desk if it's not an emergency. If it is an emergency, obviously we respond and then we can still clear it from the desk. The wrist style pendant, when you put it on your wrist, you press it just like a regular pendant. When it goes off, if it's a false alarm, we can clear it from the desk, but it will continue to go off all night. Every hour it'll go off. The only way to clear it is using a magnet and putting the magnet up to the pendant. So if it's in the middle of the night, security's going to have to come to your cottage or your apartment, put this magnet to the pendant to clear it. So it's just not, it's not a great option. I don't know what the questions were, but hang on, Lucy. And the weird part about this is the first 9 in circulation, you don't need the magnet. We can clear it from the desk. But the new styles that are coming out now, you need a magnet to clear it. Lucy, you have one on your wrist.
I have one.
Yeah.
What do I do?
No, yours is fine. So
Turn
that's
it in?
No. So, and that was weird. I got in a fight with Status Solutions trying to explain the situation and they didn't know what I was talking about, but we have 9 in circulation that do not need a magnet. But any new ones that we get need this magnet to clear. I don't get it. Another quick thing, I'm not going to talk about that. Questions?
Any more questions? Hold
Deborah.
on. Deborah, I'm coming to you.
Okay, we have the blood donation coming up next Friday. Usually yoga moves down to the classroom for that day.
You're in. We'll make it happen.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Anyone else? Questions? Jason?
All right. Next. We are planning, we haven't done this since pre-COVID, a USO show for Veterans Day. It's a week of activities. But one thing we are looking for is talent. Anyone with an act they want to do, if it's whatever it is, funny act or singing or whatever. Instrument. If you are interested in being a part of the USO show, reach out to Carrie or sign up with the concierge desk with your name and potential act or show or talent, etc. Any questions about anything I just talked about? Okay. Philip.
All right, thank you. My name is Philip Mail. I'm the Director of Long-Term Care and the Licensed Nursing Home Administrator for the Health Center. And my talk is not going to be nearly as fun as Broadway shows and talent shows and the like, but we're going to play a little bit of Mythbusters. So I was going to speak on topic A, but I'm going to postpone that just briefly to speak on topic B, which I hadn't anticipated talking about till I entered and someone asked me some very good questions. Is the health center full and you can't get in? The answer is no, it's not full. You can come in. I mean, you don't want to come in, means something wrong happened. But I've been here nearly a decade, and I think in that entire time, definitely 2, maybe 3 times, someone had to go somewhere else temporarily because we were full. So it is an extremely rare occurrence. It's not something I want you to be losing sleep over. Why did it happen recently, you ask? Well, one reason is people live a very long time in the health center. The average length of stay in that type of facility is 2.5 to 3 years. We scoff at 2.5 to 3 years. So that's one reason folks are living a long time. They're well cared for. The second reason is all of you and assisted living people didn't have the consideration to coordinate your illnesses and injury. So we had a large influx of people coming at the same time. I think we did a pretty good job on trying to get people in and out. And how do we do that, you ask? We are constantly meeting as a team. That's all the disciplines involved to discuss how folks are doing. Are people ready to move to a different level of care? Are they ready to go back to their apartments? We never, ever push someone out who the team feels isn't ready. Okay, that just doesn't happen. Now, sometimes people are nervous about leaving despite the team feeling that they are ready. And we do our very best to try to address those concerns and to make people feel as safe as possible. But it is a very diligent working team. We have a standing meeting and then we have ad hoc meetings in between those to try to make sure that all the moving pieces are moving and moving in the best and safest direction. And as of this time, right now, there's room at the inn. Okay, any questions on the census? Deborah.
Hold on, Deborah.
A number of us have queried the idea of adding more than 100 residents to the campus and causing the health center to be overbooked.
Yeah, that's a legitimate question. It's one that's come up. A couple things about that, and I'm sure Michelle and Dave can speak in even more detail. First of all, it's not a Woodland Pond decision. So anytime you open nursing home or assisted living beds, you have to have a certificate of need that is granted by the powers that be at the state. Now, when these expansion plans were first being developed, that need, that capacity was looked at, and it was determined at that time that we had plenty of room. I'm not so sure about that. I don't know if this was a blip on the radar or not. We've had these discussions. I know this question is being put out there again as we go through this expansion process to see if the powers that be at the state still feel that way or there is an opportunity to expand. Did I speak accurately? Okay.
So just to color this a little bit, and I've touched on it a bit, the state bases their decision on actuarial data, not data from Woodland Pond. So we have to hire a third-party actuary to do what's called a sensitivity analysis, a comprehensive actuarial study, which looks out 20 years, and it will incorporate adding 94 independent living units, our average age of occupancy, how long our people live in the health center, our actual data, not the 2.5 years that we scoff at. So our actuaries that we hire will provide this analysis to the actuaries at the Department of Financial Services, and then they will have actuarial speak, and then they will decide what we need to do, and then we will let you know. It's a process that we really have no control over. As a matter of fact, when we initially built the 100 units in the health center, we unexpectedly got the letter from the state that they felt after construction that we were 35 too big. Again, we didn't control that. We didn't request that. Somehow their actuaries reevaluated and that's where they came to. But I intended to promise to the Finance Review Committee the actual length of stay data for Woodland Pond over the last few years in the health center compared to actuarial averages. And to Philip's point about the 2.5 years, we've got somebody in assisted living right now that's been there for 10 years. That's just completely unheard of. So when that happens, it does cause an issue. Luckily, our actuaries, by the time we take this to them, will have 17 years of our actual data and then all of the industry data to rely on. That goes right to the state. And as you've seen with this process, which didn't even contemplate adding units, look how much time they took to do their review and look at how thorough it was. So rest assured that although the regulators are our headache, they're your protectors.
Hold on, coming.
Will the outpatient physical therapy department continue to take community people in? Because it had at one point made it so there was a waiting list for us residents.
So we've looked at that just very recently. The numbers as they are now is less than 6% of the census of outpatient is outside of Woodland Pond. In terms of scheduling and prioritization, Woodland Pond always gets priority on that. We have increased our census in outpatient from Woodland Pond people significantly, which is terrific. That's why we have it. We want to be here. It's convenient. So at no point will people outside the community be prioritized over, and it's really not a significant number even as we speak. Good question, though.
Come in, Yakov.
Related to that question, the capacity for outpatient physical therapy and occupational therapy, is that at this point limited by the facility or by the number of people that are hired to do that? Because there is room for
good question.
Extras.
We flex up and down with per diems for our outpatient physical therapy. So we do have a few. I saw Grant here today. Any of you may have worked with Grant. I saw him here today. He's here when we need him. And thankfully he shows up. We have some other per diems also. So if the census is heavy or people are on vacation, we will utilize that per diem staff.
Sure.
I would like to just add one comment to that, though. So one of the things that we see with outpatient, and some of you may have experienced this, is a lot of you are very picky with when you want to go to your therapy sessions. And so while we may have therapy sessions available at, let's say, 9 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's very common that residents will say, no, I can't come because I want to go to the management Q&A. Or no, I can't come because 9 o'clock in the morning is too early for me. So that does create an issue. And we will have vacant bays. And then you may have to wait until a time that you like or are available to comes along. So just do keep that in mind. There is some autonomy that's driving some of that delay as well.
Okay, any more questions on that topic? All right, I will quickly move into topic 2 and do some more myth busting. There's been a lot of talk about staffing lately, right? There is a staffing survey that Michelle has been promoting that is open. It closes this Friday, I believe, today. It closes today. Let's talk about, let's put some of this in context. We are not critically understaffed. We are not normally understaffed. Empirically, not subjectively, we have more staff than most facilities on a state and national average. When we say we would like more staff, it is to meet your expectations and ours for the delivery of service. I cannot stress this enough. There is also a myth. It comes from my own staff. I've heard it from family members, and I've heard it from residents, that we can simply decide to staff up, as if we have a corral of CNAs and LPNs and RNs that are just waiting and chomping at the bit to come in. But for budgetary reasons or for political reasons or any other reasons, we are choosing not to hire them. This is so patently false. There's no other way to say that. I encourage all of you, when you get back, look at the Woodland Pond careers portion of the website. We have many advertisements for all sorts of positions. We put a tremendous amount of resources in terms of sign-on bonuses, referral bonuses, and all sorts of other perks so we can attract healthcare professionals. CNAs in particular are a very scarce commodity. In the last several weeks, we have hired 5 new LPNs, 5. That's quite a bit. So there's the process of onboarding, there's a process of orientation, so there's a lag between when they're hired and they actually get slotted into their FTE positions. But things are moving in that area and the staff is working very, very hard on that. Now, what we're also going to be exploring as a result of the survey and also our own conversations with each other and the staffing is how can we look at the functions that are typically done by, let's say, a CNA or an LPN that can be transferred to someone else, to another particular class of professional, to take some of the burden off the direct hands-on care staff. So this is out-of-the-box thinking. We already have something called unit assistants that many of you may have heard of. We have expanded the number of them. We've been interviewing constantly, and we are going to be looking in an upcoming meeting of how we can even further diversify the type of tasks that are done and how we can spread it out so our nursing staff can really be doing nursing stuff. Okay, is there any questions on anything that I've said so far? Betsy.
You spoke of the survey. Are you expecting IL people to fill out that survey? I am not currently in the health center, so I don't really know. So I passed the survey by.
You should. It's really intense for families.
Right. That makes sense.
About today's experience. Like not just today, but like now.
If I were in the health center, I would fill out the form. But right now, I don't know. So
I would say also if you had a recent stay or you had a loved one with a recent stay, I would think that would be applicable too. Yeah. Any questions on staffing?
Mr. Wolfs, you got okay.
Oh, anything else I can answer from the health center perspective?
Yeah. Several times in recent weeks, it's been stated that anybody that comes into the health center needs to sign in, and because it's a state regulation. What about events in the great room where independent living folks come either as active presenters or audience members? What's the requirement there?
Yeah, we've typically not required every single if there's a large event, and we'll be looking at this more due to the renovations and more events may be happening in the great room. We typically have been pretty lax by design on that if there's a large group coming in or performers. But the purpose of signing in, first of all, it's a regulation, but just so everyone's aware, the purpose of signing in is it's a fire safety code. If there's an emergency of some sort, we need to know who's in the building, who's on the unit. If we have to account for every single person, if there's an evacuation, if there's a mass shooter, all these kind of unpleasant things, we need to know who was signed in, where they are, and have they been accounted for. It's also the reception desk where you'll get information of whether you need to wear protective garments or equipment if you're visiting, if there's something specific about visitation that you need to know to protect your loved one or yourself. That's also a place where that information is disseminated. Any other questions? All right, thank you kindly.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bridget Blum. I just have 2 quick announcements and then certainly would be able to answer any questions if you have them. Deb alluded earlier to the blood drive next Friday. That is going to be the last blood drive for 2025. It will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We only have 12 donors currently signed up. The Red Cross has us slated for 34 openings. So I would love if 22 people could sign up between now and next Friday. I did send out another round of emails, so if you do get one of those, you can certainly give me a call. But that just goes to the general population of donors in the past, and so we do get a lot of donors from the community at large, and I expect that we'll have some additional signups there. But if anyone is still looking to sign up, there's lots of morning appointments available and lots of afternoon appointments available. So you can just contact me or stop by my office. The other announcement that I wanted to make, and this is just sort of my little last ditch effort to boost the Rove Committee, who works so hard all year long, rewarding our valued employees. They do this collection throughout the course of the year. Some people donate on a monthly basis. This is a resident collection, resident committee for the gift to the employees that goes out just around the Thanksgiving holiday. And today was their posted and advertised last day for collections, but certainly would be willing to collect past today. Final numbers are due to me from that committee in early November. So really probably within the next 2 weeks or so. If you haven't yet donated and you are interested, this is just a gentle reminder that the committee had their posted last day for collections as of today. And again, to anyone who contributes to that, on behalf of all of the management team and the hourly employees who are the recipients, we thank you very, very much. Any questions? I'm passing.
Bridget, you can sign me up for the blood, the Power Red.
Power Red?
Yeah.
It's that time. I'll let you know
Donate
when.
2 pints.
Perfect, Rob. Perfect. 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Got it. Tommy, you coming? Yeah, check your schedule, Tommy. Check your schedule. Don't forget your ID also.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Scatoro, the Director of Marketing. We are still full. We're still growing our wait lists. We're still doing fantastic on our end here. We have 73 units right now on the wait list, most of which are couples, so that's about 120 people. 17 closings year to date, 28 new residents that have moved in this year, and 10 more in the works. I do just also want to add that we have on our website now an expansion tab up on the main header where the resident forum tab is located, the resident portal is located. It's brand new. We will start to add more details once we have a renovation schedule put together and more details, unveil on that part. One more thing to mention too is once we get to the point where we are ready to talk about the expansion property and the units that are going to be offered to new future residents, we will be going to residents and the wait list first. So if you know of anybody that you think loves Woodland Pond or might love Woodland Pond, but not until the future, it's definitely a good idea to get them on the wait list now because they will get first dibs along with any of you if you wanted to move once the new units are ready to be talked about. We do not have specifics to share yet as far as exact pricing or exact layouts, but once we do, they will be the first to hear from us about that. Yes. So we did talk to another community that has already been through this. Similar look of Woodland Pond with 2 expansion properties close by, another one across the street. So a little bit like us, a little bigger than us and what we will be, but close to us. And we went through, I was on the call with Dave this morning about what we're doing and Jason about what we're doing as far as communal areas and communal space, distinguishing the different properties from one another. And the call from our end was very positive because we're making all of the right choices right now. They did this a while back, so the things that they wish they changed, they shared with us. And they pretty much copy and pasted their existing main campus a couple of times, which was not a good fit because now instead of having one big community, they have 3 separate communities and very different personalities that don't really mesh too well together. So with us bringing a little bit of different activities in different areas and not copying our main campus, just finding different ways to enhance it is what they wish they did. So I think we're on the right track for that. And we'll, we're doing good. So we left it very positive that we're on the right track for that. Any
Lauren.
questions?
Down the road, once expansion is complete and as apartments here become somewhat available, how would you ask do you ask which apartment they want there or here?
Yeah.
Or is it an assigned area? Well, you have to have this number come in here and
No, I mean, I see the future with this is the different campuses will have their own differences to them. So somebody may want to be in this building where everything is. I mean, we're not building another swimming pool, for example. So maybe they want to be here because the pool's here. Or maybe they want to be here because they just like this location. So we'll have to navigate all of that as we go, and how to do our marketing strategies for different people that are coming in. Obviously, we'll be giving tours in the future of different properties, depending on what the person's looking for. But all of this is new, and we'll have to come up with a plan along the way. Any more questions for me? All right, thank you.
Hello, everybody. Phil Cavallo, Director of Dining. How are we all? Big day Saturday. New menu cycle rolls out this Saturday. 5-week menu cycle. You can see it now on Connected Living. Most of it anyway, the first 3 weeks. The brunch menu is the only exception that has not been added to Connected Living yet. We hope to have that on there by end of day today. Jason alluded to the murder mystery dinner. There have been some questions about what the menu is going to be, so people know if they want to sign up or not. The menu is going to be based around what the murder mystery theme is, and that is past, present, and future, time machine travel, if you will. So the menu will be based around that. So the appetizers or starters will be food from the past. The entrees and sides will be foods from the present, and the dessert will be foods from the future. No idea what that means, but I'm excited to think about it and get going with that. We will publish it as soon as I have it. I already told you you'd be the first person that gets it, so I will hold myself to that. November 11th is Veterans Day. We will be doing the traditional pancake breakfast for the veterans. That'll be hosted in the main dining room and served by whomever here wants to serve. Hopefully it's everybody. Other than that, that's really all I have to contribute. Anybody have any questions for me?
Hold on.
Yeah, we took it up at the dining committee about the fact that some people can't get reservations in the dining room. And now that this is put off, today my wife tried to book a reservation 10 days out, and there were no reservations available. 0 for 2, for 4, for anybody.
For that particular time slot or for the entire night?
Anytime. No time.
Okay, we must be doing a good job. We're popular.
Yeah, it's popular.
We're going to look into it. I did tell you that I was going to holster that because of the renovation. Now that the renovation is being pushed, we'll look into trying to open up some more spaces.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Two things. Thank you for bringing in the white plastic as opposed to the black plastic. It's really a good thing. And secondly, could you possibly email the new 5-week cycle to us? I would really like to be able to refer to it ahead of time, the whole 5 weeks.
Yep, we can. I can get with Jason, get the whole distribution list, and we can see what we can do. The first thing June said was she thanks us for changing out all of the black plastic. So we did that. So everything you see now is either clear or white. Up front, Betsy.
Oh, Betsy, sorry. I didn't see your arm up there. We got to get that up all the way.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry. No. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He's not, we're not gonna let him go anywhere until you remember.
I'm all set.
All right, so I know we're getting close on time and we have to include the Rob and Tom show, but before we do that, I want to bring Cameron Reale up. Call you Cam Ilgner for the rest of your life. So for those that don't know Cameron, Cameron is the new Chief Operating Officer and is back to Woodland Pond after a brief stint away running a nursing home in Clifton Park. She has gotten married since she was here, so last name is Reale. You knew her as Ilgner, but she is responsible for direct oversight of Tom, Rob, Phil, Jason, Terrell. That it?
I think so.
Okay. So, do you have some things that you wanted to say today?
I do. I don't want to take away from Rob and Tom, but I'll make it quick. I'm sorry. I thought that you could hear me. Can you hear me now? Okay, here we go. Thank you for the introduction, Michelle, the reintroduction rather. I wanted to just come up here, say hi, especially to those of you who I haven't had the chance to meet in my first role here, or many roles here, versus now. It is my goal to work with everybody, not only to put out fires, as for a lack of a better term, but also to work on enhancing the amazing community that we have and that we're working towards in the expansion. And although I do oversee those directors that she mentioned, I also plan to work very collaboratively with the rest of the directors. So I'm hoping to be a helping hand for anything that all of you may have interests in, questions, concerns, etc. And that's kind of where I'm at. Instead of touching on some points that I had, does anybody have questions before we get to Rob and Tom? Viv?
Hold on.
I'm speaking about me and other people. It's all here. We welcome you back with your
Thank you.
smiling, beautiful face.
Thank you so much. Thanks. I'm excited to be back. That's for sure. Anybody else? No? Okay. One thing I just wanted to say, and it kind of goes off of what Philip was just saying with the collaboration between independent living and the health center. I know that this is a motive that Michelle has very seriously taken to more recently, and especially as we're talking about the expansion and renovations that will be going on. Partly due to the fact that we'll be having a lot of activities in the health center. This is kind of killing two birds with one stone, where we're really trying to get the independent living residents associated with the health center residents. I know that the Health Center Committee has been doing a phenomenal job in their efforts to get different things on the calendar and get more knowledge out there for independent living residents for what we offer in the health center. But this is something that we're actively working on. So I kindly ask that everybody has an open mind to different efforts that we put forth in the future. So any suggestions are always welcome.
Hi, Tom Tango, Director of Plan Operations. I'll just give you a couple updates. Then as Dave said, there's going to be some changes in the parking, and we're going to be putting some fences up and taking some parking spaces. The contractors and a lot of staff are going to be parking down off of Danskin Way up that dirt road. We cleared a concrete pad up there. The contractors will be parking there. Prior to the fence is going to go up. Currently, they're saying October 27th. So I'll be sending something out next day or two about what spaces I need cleared by October 27th. And along with that, the EV station, like Dave said, that's over here outside the pool, that's going to go offline. The other ones will still work, but the two that's over here, they'll be going offline. And also we'll be coming up with an exact plan of where the handicap parking gets relocated and things like that. And there'll be more news on that. Also, real quick, like Michelle alluded to before, South Storage is it's being renovated as we speak, and that's really due to you. The fact that we have this space now to use is really because all of you accommodated our requests, and we're able to get all the resident storage into North, and that gives us the space to use, which really, you'll see, it's going to be quite valuable. The pool, when the pool closes down for the renovations, what's not in the renovation scope is the painting of the pool, and we're going to do that. When the pool shuts down for the work they're doing in there, we'll drain it, we'll paint it, and we'll put in new LED lights in the pool. So when the pool's returned and the hot tub, they'll be freshly painted, new lights, and it'll be a whole new world in there. Any questions? Okay, I'm getting out of here. Rob?
You got a question, Betty?
I think Betsy just needs her own microphone.
Make these comments, it makes them disappear. I was real surprised when you said that the 5-week cycle menu is going to be on Connected Living. I have found it nearly impossible to access a day's worth of a menu on Connected Living. Never mind a whole 5 weeks worth.
It's always been available the same way. This is nothing new, but I'm going to try to email it to everyone as well.
I try to get a menu for like tomorrow, and it gives me only part of the day's menu. It gives me the exact things that are repeated all the time, but not the new things that come up.
Bethany,
they're really a problem.
Just to answer that quickly, there's no definitive answer, but Connected Living is going away by January, whether we like it or not. They've already been bought out by another company, and I doubt we're going to go with who they were bought out by. So we're changing by January.
I'm just going to touch on two quick things for me. I'm Robert Dunn, Director of Environmental Services. Carrie is working hard on the annuals. We actually have 38 left to schedule for this year. If you had not had your annual, she does leave a lot of messages that she doesn't get returns on. So please reach back out to her so we can get those scheduled and finish them up. This will be like our third consecutive year of completing all the annuals every 12 months. So I appreciate your help in the schedule and Carrie's hard work on getting that, because that was long overdue for us. I'll ask a question. Go ahead. You got a question for?
Is it possible that the annuals take place on the day that you normally have your person come in to clean?
Not necessarily, because our annual crew is really a part-time crew that works Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I would say 90% of the time we schedule them on your weekly cleaning.
Yeah.
That week, we try to accommodate that unless something goes.
Because we didn't have
the
that.
window.
And then the Friday that was due, the person didn't come because we just had our
Yes.
annuals. Then we have to wait 2 more weeks.
Correct.
So we don't have anybody for 3.5 weeks.
If it all depends on when it gets scheduled and what's available. But like you said, Carrie works very hard to try and get everyone scheduled on their cleaning week. So if your cleaning is on a Monday or a Friday, we will move you to a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday for your annual, and then see you 2 weeks later. We always cancel that housekeeping appointment for that week because there's no point in having an annual cleaning and then a regular cleaning. It's a waste of time for us. All right, but ideally, it's not always perfect, but there is a possibility, because we say, all right, here's an A week and a B week. We try and schedule you on your weekly. If not, there is a possibility just to accommodate. There might be a 3-week gap, but we should be cleaning so well in that annual. The 3 weeks is not going to make too much of a difference to get you back on schedule. But I understand that can be frustrating. Ina's got a question too. Oh, I saw you raising. Okay, just checking. Making sure. The second thing I wanted to address is something came up in the rumor mill. I want to say 2 weeks ago, somebody had left a comment about the chemicals we use. We use the same chemicals as we do in the health center. They're DOH approved. They're EPA listed. We don't use anything, just off the shelf out of anywhere. So we make sure that the housekeepers are using that. I think the comment was like the floor was a little sticky or something like that. That's not really a rumor mill. A rumor mill is like Tom is doing something wrong or whatever. But I would like a phone call or to myself or Carrie, if you have a concern about any of the cleaning chemicals. We can accommodate some things. We will never accommodate using your chemicals. All right. It's an OSHA thing for our staff. It's a safety thing. We don't have the safety data sheets on those chemicals that you have. We have it on what we use in-house. So if you have a concern on a chemical that we're using, we haven't changed anything recently. So if there is a concern about any of the chemicals, please reach out to me with your concerns of whatever we're cleaning with. I know some people will have sensitivities. We can always switch to a vinegar and water if that's something necessary we need to do for you if you have sensitivities to whatever. But all these chemicals are diluted. But just keep that in mind. If you have a question on what we're doing, please reach out to us. Okay. Any questions for me on cleaning stuff? No, that's it. Okay.
I have one thing that I want to just go over quickly. Two things very quick. One is several people got an email from me today reminding them that they have not yet completed the compliance acknowledgement for public for on-calendar events. And those would be people that are either facilitators, organizers, or regular presenters at these meetings. All of those three categories of people have to sign those forms if you want to keep your items on the calendar. That's the policy now. Those have to be into us. We're giving a grace period until the 24th to get your event on the calendar for November. If you did not get an email from me, you're not on our target list. It means you've either turned it in or you're not a regular organizer, facilitator, presenter, etc. So please do check your inboxes. There weren't too many of you, but we do need to get those in so we can make sure that Carrie can get your events for November on the calendar. The next thing is you heard me say in my address yesterday that another survey was going to be coming out in your email. And Betsy, this is for you and all your friends, not just health center people. This speaks to our mission. So this is a little bit of an add-on to the conversation we started at last month's management Q&A related to identity. So our strategic planning committee of the board had a meeting on last Wednesday, and they have asked me to now advance this to all of you for participation and feedback. And I hope you take advantage of that because we want your ideas, we want your reactions, we want your feedback. So if you can please do that, that would be great. Lindsay will probably be getting that survey out today or tomorrow. And there are 8 questions. And just to kind of give you a little bit of a nugget. So we're asking you to fill in the blank on 2 questions. The first is, as a community, Woodland Pond's greatest attribute is, fill in the blank. As a community, Woodland Pond's greatest missed opportunity is, fill in the blank. There's a couple of questions about our existing mission statement, your ideas for what mission statements should look like in general, and then also if you have ideas about a Woodland Pond mission, vision, and or value statement. And then there are 3 questions that you might be surprised about. These have to do, 3 questions? Yeah, 3 questions related to 2 things that are occurring to me might be causing some unnecessary anxiety, but I'm not exactly sure what the solution is. And they are your PERS pendant and your badge. And how they make you feel vis-a-vis, is this like your home? Because if you're at home, you don't wear a badge. And if you're wearing a PERS pendant, how does that make you feel as an independent person? And does that somehow unintentionally diminish your feelings of value as an independent person? And do we need to reconsider both of those things as we move into this phase of honoring our residents for the people that you are, and not just a resident of Woodland Pond? So I want you to look at those questions and think about them and read them. And I hope that this is thought-provoking, but we're not doing it just to be thought-provoking. We're doing it to really think about what are some of these ways that we can do small changes to really make this feel as much like home and as much like you are cared for individually, not just a name on a badge or a PERS pendant, and kind of go from there. All right, so we're going to keep advancing this conversation. So just please look out for that in your email inbox. Lindsay, can we make paper copies available at Concierge for those that are not on email? And if you need help filling this out, let us know, because I'm sure some of you are going to be interested in this and may not be necessarily in the computer or whatever.
Will the mission statement precede the survey? Because I would think it would be very convenient to see the wording before we fill out our answers.
So we will include it. There are some explanatory pieces of information in it, but I don't have the existing current mission statement in, but before Lindsay sends it out, we'll put it at the top.
Any other questions?
All right. I think we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.